Zero City is one of the most unforgettable science fiction films you will ever watch. My name is Christian Malte. I've seen well over 1,000 science fiction movies. This one, I saw it like last year. It really stuck with me. It's funny, it's terrifying, but also it was shot in 1989 or released in 1989. And when I watched it, I really got the sense that I was watching the product of a society that knew it was about to collapse. This movie feels like you're watching the USSR tell you it's about to collapse. I did a video on my French channel on that very topic about a year ago and had been thinking, that maybe I was wrong, maybe I was oversimplifying. So I was very surprised while preparing this video that this opinion that Zerograd was actually part of a plot, actually. To destroy the USSR exists in the Soviet Union itself. It was put forth by apparently a very well-respected intellectual. So later on in the video, we will go into all that. What is that article actually saying and what does it actually reveal? We'll talk about Zizek as well, ideology, psychoanalysis, and ultimately why it feels so much like our own civilization is on the verge of collapse, or perhaps, which is more my opinion, already collapsed in fact. So we will talk about all that, but first, Zero City. Why is it so good? As I said, it's truly unforgettable. I think about this movie all the time. Well, it's a 1989 movie by Karen Shakhnazarov, I think. It was released by Mosfilm, the big #1 studio from the former USSR, and it tells the story of an engineer, like a very mundane, bureaucratic level engineer who comes to the city, like the Zero City of the title, for the most boring, most Soviet business trip of all time. Like, he has been trying with his plant in Moscow, they've been trying to get the part fixed for a replacement part for a air conditioner. And they've been trying to talk with the plant in this Zero City for a while, but the part never gets replaced. So very mundane, very, trade wars and Phantom Menace. Like, very boring level, though I like the trade wars in Phantom Menace, there I've said it. So our engineer of the title arrives in Zero City and he meets the boss of the plant there, but they've never heard of him. And this trip was, planned months in advance, but the former director of the plant has died, and okay, so that's going on. But what is also going on is that, for some strange reason, the secretary of the new director is stark naked in the office, which surprises surprises the engineer, but apparently not the director, who was not aware of the fact that his, secretary is typing stuff away, bare naked, but it doesn't seem to bother him that much. The engineer is trying to get his part replaced, and everything is strange. Nothing seems to work, but everybody's kind of like going on with, oh no, it's normal, this is okay, but there's a growing sense of absurdity in the city. Generally what happens here is that everything is completely bonkers, and our hero, as the night and the days go on, he's immersed in this crescendo of absurdity, and he's always trying to leave the city. It's very Kafkaesque. He's trying to leave, but everything keeps getting in his way, and so will the hero be able to leave the city? Is he cursed to stay there forever? Are the rebels, the anti-communist rebels, actually, about to abolish the Soviet Union? Or what is going on in this Zero City? Well, the only way to find out, obviously, is to watch the movie Zerograd, Zero City. Well worth your time. If you've never seen it, and few people have, definitely check it out. And I think it's for free on the Mosfilm YouTube channel. I know there's a DVD out, which looks very cool. But for now, what are the main reasons why the movie is so good? Why is it so unforgettable? Well, let's start with the visuals. Right away, the movie begins at the train station where the engineer, arrives. It's strikingly atmospheric. And the whole movie kind of has that very dreamlike quality, very beautiful quality, like the film grain, like the quality of the actual film. It varies a lot depending on which Soviet movies you watch. And this one, they... like they picked the Tarkovsky film stock. This film looks like 1,000,000 rubles, right? It looks fantastic. The whole movie is like filled with very elaborate set pieces. Like there's a very famous sequence in the movie, a sequence for the few people who've seen the movie, which is actually very long, where the narrator, the hero, visits a museum, which is the museum of the city, where everything is more or less made up. This is where, the veterans of the Trojan War, they visited our city, and this is a shield which shows that they slept here, and this is the bed where Stalin stayed, and all these things, right? It's supposed to be a museum with wax statues, but everybody in the wax statues are played with by actual actors. So it feels like very, unheimlich, very uncanny valley, very strange, this whole sequence. And it's both beautiful, as I said, and, plays into this sense of everything is slightly off, slightly askew. The colors are very vibrant, the visual composition. So the whole, visual aspect of the movie is tremendous, very striking. And this is one of the most beautiful, certainly Soviet films I've seen. It's a beautiful movie. There are many very striking, I mentioned set pieces, but it's not just visual set pieces, it's episodes, like vignettes, so there's the visitor in the museum, which I mentioned, which takes about 20 minutes of the movie, very strange. There's the restaurant scene. The cover of the DVD and the poster of the movie is usually taken from there. Probably the thumbnail from this video will be taken from that scene. This is a scene where the hero gets served a cake, and he has very little time. He has to catch his train in 40 minutes. So he wants the simplest meal possible, please. And he goes into this restaurant, and they serve him this very elaborate meal and a cake which the cook has cooked especially for the guest. He put all his heart in it. The cake is in the shape of the engineer's head. So he served this cake in the shape of his own head, and it looks like a delicious cake, I have to say. Like a wonderfully delicious. I would like to eat that cake, except not in the shape of my own head. And that's only the beginning of that scene, actually. It goes even more insane. So the entire movie is filled with those very surreal situations, and the character is kind of going along as a kind of Buster Keaton character, and all he wants to do is leave as soon as possible. So it's Buster Keaton in a Kafka story, is basically what you're seeing here. Buster Keaton in the sense that he's not reacting much. All these crazy things keep happening to him, but he's going on impassively, trying not to go insane in a situation where not only is everything insane, but as I mentioned, everybody is not only pretending, but they seem to be sincerely acting as if everything is normal. And that's the whole, ethos of the movie. Everything is bonkers. Every character in the movie acts as if it's normal, except the main character, which is kind of us, which is kind of an everyman character, who's just observing all this and I am right now. This is completely insane. Why are all these people acting as if it's normal? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, to quote the great Mugatu. Just a quick comment about the actor. I've talked about the main character. I've mentioned him a lot. He's played by Leonid Filatov. He's great. He's really, really very, very good. He did a few other movies, and I don't think I have seen, but I would gladly watch in a minute. He's fantastic. The music also is by Artemiev, so you're in safe territory. Artemiev, who did the music for most notably the Tarkovsky movies, which we mentioned earlier. The music is very sparse. It's not there the whole duration of the movie. It comes and it goes, but when it comes, it's very powerful. He's it feels a little bit like a Soviet tangerine dream, if you like. The short version is that this is a killer soundtrack, fantastic movie, fantastic cast. The story is, as I said, it's not so much a story as like a visual poem about absurdity, but like societal existential absurdity. And one thing I've mentioned quickly is it's very funny, but there are moments where I was genuinely afraid. Like I felt actual fear watching this movie, and that's because I could recognize in certain scenes the bureaucracy of it. And it doesn't matter if you're in a socialist country or a capitalist country, like there's always an element of that, even crossing the border, especially these days, the sense that the rules are absurd and the person, who is meant to apply the rules, you're not quite sure what he's going to do and how he's going to apply these absurd rules, which that person seems to be taking quite seriously, and this sense of administrative doom. So you feel that from time to time in the movie, and when that came up, as I said, I've rarely seen that. And that's very Kafkaesque as well, this sense of this evil administration, but it's not so much that it's evil, it does evil things, but it's more like it can destroy you at any moment, but not necessarily out of ill will, more out of absurdity. And I think that's much more well observed, criticism, if you like, if it is that, because it's more like a poetic expression than a, ideological expression of something. It's like, it's deeper than just a, like a critique. It's like, no, this is the terror of experiencing, bureaucracy left to its own devices. And, I've seen other good examples of that. There's a German movie called Traumstadt, and obviously Kafka, we've mentioned it, Brazil, 1984, if you like. But this, again, felt very, very, very true. This, existential bureaucratic doom and dread and sense that anything could go wrong. That was quite an achievement for the movie. And how often are you really afraid when watching a movie? This one achieves it. So it's funny, it's smart, it's beautiful, and it's profound. It has kind of like a Monty Python feel. It has a Prisoner, like the Patrick McGowan series. It very much kind of feels that way, certainly in certain aspects of it. Well, the Kafka thing. So it's a Terry Gilliam, which I mentioned also. So it's in that tradition. It's science fiction, but science fiction as really like a metaphor, like the crazy city, like the dystopian city subgenre, if you like, of science fiction. And I've really rarely seen done quite as well as this movie, and never in the same way. Like, this is a unique movie and a uniquely successful movie, and do check it out. It's wonderful, frightening, but really funny and unforgettable.